Welcome to our very special session today, the election market reaction and your next steps. I am here with Tim Hornish. Tim is one of our NISINC certified trainers, which means he is capable of teaching on Steve NISINC's behalf. This is a very special session. As a lot of you know, I know not everyone in the room here or watching the recordings from the US, but in the US yesterday, we had a presidential election along with elections of other offices as well. And that caused a little bit of movement in the market here, at least in the US, and some international markets as well. So we decided to throw this special session together to talk about some market reaction and a few other things. So it'll be brief. It's only going to be about a half hour total. But the insights that Tim is going to provide on some of these charts, I think will be important. Remember, you're always going to want to look at support and resistance and risk and reward and all that kind of good stuff. But I can tell you that the number of people that I was contacted today by that says, hey, should I buy Bitcoin? Or what's your prediction of Tesla? Or what's the S&P going to do by Wednesday of next week or whatever? The whole idea of this session is to kind of show you some insights of some markets. Obviously, we're not going to have time to go through a lot of markets, but we're going to go through some key ones and some things that definitely move. From that, you take some education. In the middle of the session, I'm actually going to show you what we're calling our Better Than Black Friday promo. So if you're interested in either starting with us or continuing your path with candle charts, I'll be going over that. And then Tim will come back on and do a couple more markets, and then we'll stick around and answer some questions. So I hope you're ready for it. Tim, I'm looking forward to your insights. So over to you.
Thank you, Paul. I'd like to welcome everyone to our election market reaction and next step session. Folks, as you know, there are risks associated with trading, so please make sure to use good practices as part of your trading plan, and make sure that you read and understand our risk disclosure located at candlecharts.com/disclosure. Folks, we're going to keep it pretty simple today and start off with just looking at a couple markets. To put things in perspective, you have to, after the election yesterday, you have to look at what was going on, let's say, in the markets, in the futures, pre-market, all right? So let's see. We had the, you can see here that on the 6th, it is market started, the futures, started increasing dramatically here, even before the markets open here at 9:30 in the US. So with that, what I'm going to do is just jump. We're going to take a look at a couple things here real quick, and let me set the stage here. Just a little bit of housekeeping. We'll get right to it. For your information, everybody, I use 3 longer-term moving averages in my charts: a 10-period moving average, which is in blue; a 50-period moving average, which is in green; and a 200-period moving average, which is in black. I'll pull in long-term changes of polarity and horizontal blue lines, and I'll use orange for shorter duration. So here was we had a nice bull sash pattern here on the 2-candle pattern. As we went into the election happened, and this huge gap up, we call a rising window, and we broke to an all-time high on the Dow. So thought I'd show you the futures. So the futures are more continuous, but on a market open, huge gap. I think this was the maybe the 4th largest increase in the Dow, like in the diamonds, for in the past 4 years or whatever. But anyway, bottom line, we closed at an all-time high in several of the markets. The Dow, the S&P, and I think also the IWM, and also the NASDAQ was way up. So as we look at this market, where are we going to go from here? In our candle charts education, we know that after there's a huge rising window, this whole window is now going to be a potential area of support. We've broken through. We have a breakout going on here above the previous all-time high, and we could be now this rising window now is going to serve as an area of support, starting this area of like 430, 433.92. Let's call it an area of 434 or so, and if price continues to break to the upside above this 438 area, we could be looking at points above 439 or even potentially 440. So I hope that helps on the Dow. On the Dow Jones Spiders, like on that particular market. Next, we had a couple questions on Tesla. Same thing. Here we are at the end of the day yesterday. A huge gap up, huge rising window. Once again, this rising window is going to become an area of support. They'll end up having a medium-sized real body, long lower shadow, and we tested up to this 289.22 area, which is a minor change of polarity. We could, if we're looking for some clarification, we're looking for some confirmation. So if we get a close above this 290 area, we could be heading up at the 290, 294, 296, or perhaps even up to 300 with Tesla. But huge rising window, and once again, look for an area of potential support down here in the area of 276. Hope it helps. And as we look to the energy, thought we look at energy. So this one, I left this a little different. What I like to do in my charts, once again, we had this huge rising window. I will just take it. I like to mark rising windows so they're easy to see on the charts. It helps to, helps visually. And once again, we test it up to this 93.85 area, which is a major change of polarity, a major area of potential resistance to the upside. And we get a closer to above this 93.84 area. We could be looking at 94, potentially up to 96 to the downside. This rising windows would become an area of potential support. So I'd look for some potential support in the area of 92 or so to the downside. So, Paul, we'd open up for any questions on these markets or any quick feedback before I pass the ball to you, sir.
Before, I don't see any questions yet. And folks, we will be taking questions. So if you have a question, please type it in. This is information that everybody should make sure that you get. I'm going to take over in a second, but I just wanted to bring up one idea or one thought. Tim, if you can go back to the Tesla chart. Just a thought, because I got so many of our students calling in or emailing or texting, whatever, today saying, how high is Tesla going to go? So I tried reminding them of what support and resistance is, and the idea of being able to go back and find prior support and resistance. Well, obviously on this chart that you have up here, Tim goes back to September. You have to continue to go back as far as needed, and there you go, to find support and resistance, right? Meaning, if you need to go to a weekly chart or a monthly chart, or even just scroll back as Tim just did, you'll be able to find where is prior support and resistance, and then be able to draw your lines. So when in doubt, people are saying, well, how high can Tesla go? Well, it's pretty considerate to understand when you look back in time, there's a blue line that Tim has drawn there in that, 313 area. So this will help you identify support and resistance, which will then in turn help you identify risk and reward ratios. So if you can identify that, you can then make an informed decision based on your candle knowledge and everything else that we do here to help you make a decision, an informed decision. Somebody called me and goes, hey, I just bought Tesla. I'm like, okay, when? just now. Why? Because it's going to keep going up. You know what happened? It actually dipped a little bit during the middle of the day temporarily, and they got stopped out. They got in near a short-term resistance point right there at that 288 level. Okay? So if you see what happened right at the open, we got up right to the 289 area, and then we dipped back down all the way down to 287, right? Or roughly that area. And then people
270.
panicked.
It has to be. It's about 275, but
Okay.
just for clarification, thanks.
Thank you, Tim. And so they got panicked because they didn't enter understanding risk and reward. They didn't understand where to place their stop out point, and they didn't understand risk reward ratio. So on a day when Tesla literally closed, how much higher did it close today? Almost $40 higher than it closed yesterday. $35, $40, whatever it was. On a day when the stock closed, call it $35 higher, this non-informed trader took a loss. So I just wanted to kind of bring that up, not to scare people off from trading. And in no way is that what I'm saying. What I am saying is when you have candle knowledge taught by Steve and Tim and our team, you will start to be able to look at a chart, identify support resistance, therefore identify risk reward, and therefore identify, should I enter, should I exit? And oh, by the way, if I do enter, where is my exit strategy? Okay. I just wanted to bring that up. Tim, if you have any comments on my comment, feel free. And then we got a couple of questions that just came in.
Yeah, sure. I mean, after we had this huge gap up, huge rising window, right? We come up here, we test this minor change of polarity, we pull back, but we pull back. We tested here at 945. We test that value again at 10, right? So we get it's a test and a retest, and after that, it starts taking off. And as Paul said, the support should be somewhere in the area of this rising window. So Paul, I hope that helps.
Absolutely. Let me just ask the question. No one has to answer it, but could you imagine telling somebody in your family or a friend or a neighbor, whoever, hey, I traded Tesla today, and what's the immediate reaction that you should get? Oh, that's awesome. Great. Good job. Could you imagine having to tell that person, well, I actually lost? I lost money on that Tesla trade. And these are the kind of things that I can tell you that our candle chart students that take the time and go through our education, use our programs and stuff like that, would have been informed and be able to make that right decision. So Adrian said, gaps usually fill in, so buying the breakout has exchangers. Please comment. Personally, Adrian waits for confirmation and then take the previous trend and type of candle into consideration. I know Tim can have his answer to that too, Adrian, but everyone has their own level of aggressiveness on a trade. And a lot of people get emotional. They see Tesla open up significantly higher today than it closed yesterday. A lot of people want to take action. The fact that you have that patience, Adrian, I can tell you, I know that you've been a candle chart student for a while, so that's great. That patience can absolutely pay off. And the confirmation, that's something that a Steve Nissen would do. Steve always will wait for that confirmation to ensure you don't get stopped out prematurely, and you take into consideration everything that you just said. You wait for the confirmation, you look at the previous trend, and then you take candles into consideration. So Adrian, you speak like a nice, trained candle chart trader. That's awesome. Gladys said practice, practice. Absolutely. Gladys, again, another candle chart student. Can definitely tell that you've gone through stuff. And then Adrian wrote back again, XLE, for example, has been in a box range since April and is now at the top of that range. Yes. So you will see that obviously when things are in a box range and they're bouncing back and forth between the top and the bottom of a box range, usually you need a catalyst to make it move, right? Well, a presidential election, which, I'm not getting political, one side would have gone one way and one side would have gone another way regarding energy, obviously is a catalyst in that. So now that we, uh, you know, potentially are going to break out of that range, again, Steve teaches trading a box range, which is one of his favorite things to do, and how to take advantage of that because of a breakout. You want to do a measured move and things like that. Yeah, Gladys said a big catalyst yesterday. By the way, for those of you not understanding it yet, catalysts will occur on a regular basis, right? What are some catalysts? Things like earnings reports, unemployment numbers. We happen to be having a Fed interest rate coming up. So these are all catalysts that will move the market. And people say, um, well, what's going to happen next? We don't know what's going to happen next. What we want you to do is be fully prepared. And for those of you that are already a member of Market Central, if you watched the casual trader session that I did over the last weekend, I talked about being prepared, knowing that catalysts were coming up between the election and the Fed and all these other things. How can you be prepared? Well, take a look at charts that you like to trade. Go to longer time frames than what you're typically trading, whether it be a daily or weekly or monthly, perhaps, and drawing your support and resistance. If you had that on the chart on Tesla today, knowing Tesla was going to move one way or the other today. How did we know that? Well, he's obviously connected to the president elect. If you had those lines drawn in prior to, instead of having to stare at the chart when the market opened, you could use our software, be alerted when you got a price change or price move above or below a certain line. So being prepared, knowing when the catalysts are coming is critical in my opinion. Tim, comments on that?
No, totally agree. Now
Okay.
the other thing is it also depends upon what direction you're trading. So we're at we're at the top of a box range, or we have this huge momentum up. I wouldn't short this, but however, if you go back to the daily chart, things don't go up forever. How long does it take for the market to assimilate this, for equilibrium to kick in after this huge move up? But after such a large gap up, after such a large rising window, if you're a shorter term aggressive trader, perhaps, uh, looking at a trading this kind of momentum that we talked about, opens, comes back, finds support, test, retest. Today, there's momentum after this huge gap up, uh, going into the end of the day, right? So the candles get smaller, toward the end of the day. So we'll see where price goes, and we'll be looking for confirmation. Paul, back to you.
Thanks. Tim, at this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take control of the screen. So that way I can just take a couple minutes and talk about, yep, there it is. You can see my screen right now, Tim.
Yes, I can, Paul.
Okay, very good. I'm going to just take a couple minutes. It's now open, and you'll see a countdown timer. We have 5 days and 3 hours left from the time I'm doing this live. So if you're watching this via recording, this time will be counting down. We're having what we're calling Better Than Black Friday event. Okay? Literally, we're telling you right now, this is better than what we're going to offer at Black Friday. Okay? So if you're interested in some of our programming services, by the way, folks, when I'm done here, Tim's going to come back on and talk about a few more charts. So bear with me. I just want to go through this real quick. We're giving you 25% off of our products inside of our programming services. At checkout, all you have to do is just use this code BTBF, which, as you can see, is just the abbreviation for Better Than Black Friday, BTBF. There's a short video here that if you click that play button, it'll walk you through the details. This is a listing of some of our popular programming services. So for those of you that are new, we always recommend starting out with education. If you're just starting out and you just want to try, do the quick start. If you want to go to the intermediate level, you would go to the express class. And if you say, hey, I want to become a candle expert, you would go with either the mega package, which applies to any market, or if you're just a currency trader, you can look at Frontline Forex, or if you're just an option trader, you can look at candles for options. After you have education or with education, we then use some powerful tools that I mentioned already. We have Nissen candle scanning software. We have Market Central subscriptions where we provide you with kind of what Tim's doing here today, daily guidance and ideas. We offer both of these in a monthly, annual, and lifetime plans. Then we have a Power Tool combo that combines both of those. We have two different types of strategies. We have live training recordings and a special topic library. By the way, if you're on a lifetime plan of Market Central, you get all 25 of these special topics. These are individual strategies. And then we have signature programs. So we have small group coaching that's starting up in a couple of weeks. We have an apprentice program, and we have a mastery collection. So all of those, if you click on these blue hyperlinks, it'll take you to an information page and go from there. Then we have bonus items. Any purchase whatsoever between now and the end of the, I'll just like saying it, Better Than Black Friday event, you'll be invited to a private roundtable web session with Steve. That will be held on November 20th, where he's going to be going over some additional market moves and volatile time. And then we have a couple of extra bonus items. We have a companion and a poster. Read the details there. I don't want to get into all of that. If you want to see all of our programming services, click that red button. Now, if you're not sure what's right for you, what's the next step, you have your options. You can either do a chat. You can do a chat with us down here by opening up a chat with any of our chart agents. I call them chart agents because they are traders. They're not just some customer service person sitting in a room somewhere. These are active traders that have been trained through candle charts. You can fill out this form at the bottom of the page that comes into our office, and we get back to you with a recommendation. Or you can even call or text into our office at that phone number listed there. So I'm going to put this link into the chat right here, so that way you can take a look if you'd like. This coupon code BTBF is good, like I said, until that expires. Tim, I'm going to hand it back to you. So let's give you back control. There you go. You can take it. And Tim is going to go through a couple markets now. Tim?
Let's go. So we got through Tesla real quick, and we got through XLE. Let's look at this, the spiders. Let's look at the S&P. So when I look at a market suggestion, we look at multiple time frames. This is what we look. You can see the 10s above the 50, 50s above a 200. We got angle separation, and we have a nice bull sash pattern here from our candle charts education. A bull sash pattern is not dependent upon the previous trend. So whenever you see one, it's worth taking note. It's bull sash. We're breaking through here to the upside, as we said earlier. You could look at the futures. You could look at the spiders or whatever. But bull sash on the weekly. We drop down to the daily chart. And here we had a bull sash yesterday, a nice rising window, and here is the current session's candle today. Medium-sized real body, long lower shadow, but nice momentum to the upside. Once again, we'd be looking, you're looking at 591. You could look at 590 up to 595. As you look for support, we have a major change of polarity here at 585 or so, and then you have this previous rising window, which is going to be a potential area of support. So weekly, daily, and then you can drop down and look at intraday. This is very similar to what we saw on the Dow. We opened higher, came back down here. We tested and retested an area of support, and then momentum carried us through the end of the day here on the SPY. Would notice that people made a great observation that reach an all-time high here at the end of the day. We got a very large bearish candle with a bear sash pattern here, and you can see how we're converging here near the 10-period moving average. So we'll see where price goes on the SPY tomorrow. Hope it helps. Multiple time frames, excuse me. Let's do this. Next market would be our friends from Bitcoin. Let me do this. I'll be consistent for the sake of so this is a weekly on Bitcoin, right? In a bull sash last week, large bullish candle, and with some of the potential what bullish sentiment toward what could happen with Bitcoin. Very large bullish candle, and I think we broke out to certainly a multi-year high. This may be all-time high near what 77,000 or so. It's wild. So there's a weekly. We drop back down to the daily once again. So and this candle here is we're already in the 7th of November. So this is the candle from the 6th. Now we got a potential bearish harmony after this huge rise up here. So people that said, hey, we're at the top of a range, or we've had this big big price increase in the value. So you got to look and see where price goes, and we're forming a potential bearish harmony, which is a potential top reversal candle here. And so these are futures, and they go 24 hours a day. So I hope that helps. And then looking down here, from Bitcoin on the 15-minute, I want to tighten this up here. It's pretty tight, but we started back here on the 6th with a bull sash. You can see price action here. We came up here, we had a shooting star, came back down here, bull sash, tweezers bottom. So the candle patterns are identified in the Nipson candle scanner are great. Really helps to guide your trading, and also to follow the price and market move. So I hope this helps on Bitcoin. I'm going to go weekly. And last, we have a what happens with the pound and the US dollar. Looking at the weekly, you can see we had like a dark cloud cover, bearish engulfing pattern here, lower highs, lower lows, trying to build a basis support here on the weekly, drop back down to the daily session. That's what we look like on the daily, trying to build a basis support. We tested this on the 31st, rallied up to the 50, came back down, and now we're trying to build a base of support again here. Once again, this was the end of yesterday's session, and this small candle is for the 7th. It's for, so it's current, and it's for today. And on the pound dollar, a lot of folks like to look at hourly. So here we are on the 6th, tested up to the 10, came back, build a base of support here, rallied up a little bit, and ended with a bull sash and a little bit of uncertainty at the end of the day yesterday. And here, yeah, on the hourly, we're not showing the there may be a time difference on this, but in any event, I hope this gives you maybe some ideas on looking at multiple time frames and such. So Paul, I'll turn it back to you and open it up to the room.
Thank you, Tim. Now listen, folks, we went through things very quickly. I can tell you that every day for members of what we call Market Central is our membership program. We go through this every day on a daily market recap. Every Monday and Thursday, we do what we call a strategy session where members can request specific items to be analyzed. But I can't tell you how much I am a firm believer in preparation and practice. For those of you already a member of Market Central, like I said, over the weekends, I do a session called Casual Trader. It's a pre-recorded video that I post up over the weekend. And this weekend, I actually did it here on the pound dollar because I knew that we had the election, we had the interest rate, not only here in the US, but interest rate, I believe in the UK. If you look at those flags at the bottom right of the chart that Tim has up right now, and if you click on those, they will actually identify for you. There you go. The BOE interest rate decision is tomorrow. And then if you click on that one, the Fed interest rate tomorrow at 2 o'clock Eastern time, and then yeah, that's not going to be as important, consumer sentiment. But before yesterday, they had the election was up there. So if you're trading forex pairs, you'll see a lot of the important information. So I use that as a reminder, let people know, look, the pound dollar was going to have multiple catalysts this week that was going to make it move. Typically, when you get, a currency pair, including the US dollar, will absolutely be affected by a Fed rate decision, as well as obviously an election, obviously, as well as unemployment reports and anything else that comes along with that. So if you're prepared with support and resistance, for those of you already a member of Market Central, if you didn't watch that casual trader session, you can go back and watch that now, and be able just to see a little bit more of that prep. If you're not already a member of Market Central and you enjoyed what we did here today, absolutely should become a member of Market Central. Like I said before, that is one of our powerful tools. You could become a member and use that code BTBF, better than Black Friday. And when I said that before, better than Black Friday, it legitimately, I just got a question. Is that truly better than Black Friday? Yes. We're going to have a Black Friday promo, but it will not be as good as what we're offering right now. So we're basically saying we're giving you a trading idea, right? And you can get in at the bottom price now. If you wait, you can still do it later. No rush, no immediate rush, but you won't get as a good of a price, if that makes sense. And the other part of it is, we get people sometimes that say, well, I'm going to think about it. If you had the knowledge coming into a day like today, you would have been more prepared and be able to take advantage of all the stuff. And by the way, even though today was a major move, we're going to continue to get big moves in the future. Okay? It doesn't just happen one day. If you throw a big rock in the middle of a pond, what happens? You get these rings of waves that will happen coming out of that big event. So I would expect volatility to continue, especially as we have another major catalyst again tomorrow. So I hope that helped. I did put the link in for our special offer, our better than Black Friday event. All the details are on that page. We will get this recording posted up here into the event section of candlecharts.com. And if you have any questions, like it shows you on the page, you do a chat, you can fill out the form, you can even call or text into the office. So Tim, thank you for putting this spur of the moment session on tonight after the major market moves today. And we look forward to continuing to work with you here at candlecharts.com.